All right, Chase Burns, Chase Dollander. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Doing
Great.
good. How are you guys?
We are blessed as always, and we're even more blessed tonight because we have on two guys from the number one team in the country. And it ain't even close in our eyes, guys. We've been following you guys for a good 2 years, and the level of excitement that the podcast is generated for college baseball, but more so the level of excitement that we've generated for the University of Tennessee baseball is crazy right now. All the way up through last year's great run up until the journey this year. But guys, just kind of getting into it a little bit. Burns, I got to start with you, man. I saw an interview live on TV, and I gotta applaud your professionalism because I don't think I could stay as composed as you were. You were being harassed the whole time. They had hockey sticks. There were sunflower seeds, man. Like how did you stay composed? And even more importantly, what was the retaliation? Because I know there had to be something afterwards.
Honestly, I was just so nervous for the interview. It's like my second one, but I always get some chills when it's during the game. Really, I didn't really care about the seeds or the hockey stick, but after it was just I didn't really say anything to him because I know it was all fun and games.
So, look, your coach cut an interview short in the middle of the game the other day. He said he had to get back to work, so that's a strategy. But listen, so Chase Dollander, I got to go to you real quick. Last year watching, the season started, you're playing against Tennessee for those that don't know. And you play with a guy now who has been described by teammates as a little bit psycho in between the lines. You might have fallen victim to a Drew Gilbert bat flip. There was a lot of talking. I think he talked to every single fielder as he went around and even said some things in the dugout. Talk to me about how you feel about the bat flips in general, and also what was it like to become that guy's teammate now?
I don't really. I like the bat flips, to be honest with you. It's we get to show our emotion on the field. We had Jordan Beck the other night after that grand slam throw the bat. I was going crazy about that. But yeah, being his teammate now it's crazy because he's a completely different person off the field than he is on the field. I mean, he's a psychopath on the field, but when you get off the field, he's probably one of the nicest guys you've ever met.
And that's what's wild because we have him come on this show and he's as calm as can be, but it's not even just his Tennessee teammates. We interviewed like 7 of his Team USA teammates and every one of them said the same thing. It's like, so everybody's telling us across the board, this dude's a psychopath, but then he comes on the show and he's the nicest, most normal guy you've ever met. So we were thrown.
But did you guys ever have a conversation about the bat flip he did on you?
Oh, he doesn't let me forget it. He does not let me forget it, dude. It used to be an everyday thing when I first came in, but now it's kind of simmered down because I faced him in the fall and I did pretty good. So I got him back there, but yeah, he definitely doesn't let me forget it.
Yeah. So Burns, I can tell you're not going to stand for that bat flip nonsense from nobody, and I'm sure that's probably something that you ingrained in you from a little guy. And I want to get into that a little bit. Talk to us about where you're from, where you were born, and kind of the family dynamics growing up, brothers, sisters. What was the house like?
Well, I was originally born in Naples, Italy. My parents were both in the Navy. My dad was in there for 10, my mom was in there for 3, and that's kind of how they met. And that's like kind of how my background was, kind of the Navy kid. My parents, I wouldn't say they're strict, but my dad was pretty hard on me growing up, stuff like that. I got a sister. She's in college right now. She's 20. And I moved to Nashville when I was about 1, I think, or 2. So, and I've been living here ever since.
So you don't really living in Italy, very young. You don't really remember too much of that.
No, not at all.
No.
I just have pictures.
Yeah, Naples. I think the pizza was born there. Is that true? I feel like that's
I
something I
believe
heard.
so.
So, you growing up, you had a dad who obviously was a football player. Was football a sport, or were there any other sports that you played growing up, or was it strictly just baseball?
Football was a sport when I played Pee Wee for like a year. I hated it. I was the quarterback. My dad was the coach, so I mean, I getting yelled at all the time when I was little, and so I kind of didn't like it. But I also played basketball up to sophomore year in high school, and then baseball was always around too.
Oh, here we go again. We're gonna go down this road with these Tennessee cats playing basketball. Can can you hoop just a little bit or not really? Be honest
Truthfully,
now.
truthfully, I can hoop.
Mm,
There's no doubt in my mind.
The
no doubt.
question is, if you and Chad Dallas were to play 1-on-1, who's racking it up?
I'm beating them. I'm beating them.
Look, Chad got discredited by his own brother Jack, who said he sat on the bench in middle school. Okay, that's a wrap. We don't.
But
we
Chad
don't
came
achieve.
back and said that's because he hadn't found his body yet, bro.
I'm taking Burns all day. I don't even got to discuss this.
Yep.
I still to this day don't think Chad Dallas can shoot a basketball. He better stick to the bump. That's all I'm gonna say. But Burns, man, yeah, you mentioned playing football and it wasn't really your thing. Was it more so just you just didn't like it, or was dad being the coach putting pressure on you, or was there no pressure to be good at anything or play anything? It was just something that couldn't you couldn't get into and it just wasn't your thing.
I remember my dad telling me I was scared to get hit, so that was like one of the biggest thing. I guess I was kind of soft, so he kind of was like, maybe this isn't your thing, and I went to basketball and then baseball next.
So you ended up playing baseball. You played travel ball for the Canes National and helped them to a 2020 perfect game 17 and under elite championship. So obviously baseball ended up panning out. You did the travel thing for a while. We always have the question is what was more beneficial to getting you to the next level? Was it high school ball or was it travel ball?
Definitely travel ball, just because all the guys that are in the circuit, they have the same goal as you and stuff like that. And I think the talent level is just, unless you're going to like a private school or a highly prestige private school, I think travel ball is just way better.
Yeah, but you don't want to discount, high school baseball because you personally you went 6-0, you had a .5 ERA, 131 strikeouts, 56 innings pitched as a senior. What school did you go to in high school, and what was the competition like, and what like caliber of high school, level are we playing? Are we playing at the highest level, or is it a small school? What are we looking at?
I went to Beach High School my senior year, and I would say the talent level was pretty good. I mean, decently. There's always a couple kids on each team that are committed at least to one school, D1, D2. So I think it was a pretty big public school. I think it was at the highest level of public school that you can go to.
So you guys went 28-12 in 2021. You had a state playoff berth. Um, but not only that, you have accolades of a fastball being clocked at 101 miles an hour.
Mhm.
Top prospect in perfect game, number 17, um, number one player in the state of Tennessee. At what point in the travel ball career or your career do you go, man, like I got something very special? Or did you
Uh,
always kind of know that because you were always the best player on the team?
no, I wasn't always the best player. My body kind of matured at a late age. I was kind of always the small guy until I hit my growth spurt and kind of got my looks in about sophomore summer. That's when the velo started going up. That's when I got my offer from Tennessee, and then I started getting some teams to look at me from like the travel ball perspective and like, hey, come play for us. We got these coaches coming to watch us and stuff like that. So that's when I kind of knew that I had something special, and it just kept growing off of that.
So you were ended up being as high as the fifth right-handed pitcher nationally by perfect game, and obviously, to me, like when you are throwing at the velocity that you're throwing, you're playing at for one of the best teams in the country. You're ranked at an incredibly high level. What teams, I mean, or are all the teams coming after you? Because I feel like with those, attributes, it's like a long list of teams and you've got to like whittle it down.
You talking about college, like college
Yeah,
teams?
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I would say I committed pretty early though. As I said, like that sophomore summer, I kind of blew up. I ended up committing the end of that sophomore summer. So it was around 2 to 3 months where I kind of just I didn't have to, but I kind of made a decision pretty quick. Vitello jumped on me pretty quick, and so did other teams. But after talks with him, I just felt more comfortable with him. He would come to more games. He actually didn't even come to a game one time. He just wanted me to throw up my high school field, and he came, and I felt more of a connection with him. So I felt like he was really committed on getting me to go to that school, and I just saw that, and I just thought it was cool.
So give me the top three. If it wasn't Tennessee, what were give me three other choices that you were like, all right, I could see myself going there if Tennessee wasn't in the equation.
Vanderbilt.
Boo, boo, stop right now.
Arkansas and South Carolina was one of them too.
Gotcha. So you inevitably choose Tennessee, and you talk about Tony V and the impact he had, and really that feeling. But was that the only thing about it, or did you go take a visit and you hear guys all the time, they say, I just felt like I was at home. I felt like it was me. Was it strictly what Tony V, you know, you know, how he made you feel, or was it the overall experience of going to the campus and just kind of falling in love with being there?
I'd prayed about it for a long time. Committing to a college is also like pretty hard. So once I heard about him coming to my high school and just watching me throw, and then Coach A and his background with his son being in the big leagues and his track record, and then Coach Elander, just him always being on me, wanting me to come there. I never took any visits to any schools, but once they like gave me a scholarship, I just felt at home. And as soon as I came to the first football game, I think I was a junior that time. It was like my first kind of visit. I knew it was home pretty much.
But
Pretty
when
cliche.
when you throw 101, I guess you ain't got to go anywhere. Folks just come to you, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I got a question for you before we move on to Chase Dollander. Who was your favorite athlete growing up? That's always a question that I wonder.
Man, it's hard. I never really thought about my favorite athlete.
I mean, there's got to be that guy that inspired you.
I mean, honestly, my favorite athlete was my dad.
Hey, that's a great answer.
I mean, I've always looked up to him. I mean, he's the greatest. I mean, I've always seen little newspapers of him playing in college ball and stuff like that. So, I mean, he kind of brought me to baseball, and he played baseball when he was younger, and he tries to throw with me, but it's terrible, but he's probably my favorite athlete.
Yeah, way to bring it back around after you said he ran you out of football. I see what you did there. Well,
Yeah.
all right, Chase, man, let's talk about it. Where is it you're from?
So I'm from Augusta, Georgia.
And as far as family dynamics, what's it looking like? Because I read that you might have quite a few brothers.
Yeah, so I grew up with two brothers. I have a younger and an older. And then so my parents got divorced around when I was 9 or 10. A few years later, my mom met my stepdad, and I got a stepbrother. So my mom's kind of taking care of three boys or four boys right now, three others including me. So yeah, I don't know how she does it, but she's a rock star.
So I mean, how competitive is that house with all those boys?
Oh, it's stupid competitive. It's crazy. Me and my older brother both play baseball, so we're always at each other's throats and just trying to one up each other every time we can.
All right. So when we got a family with multiple athletes as siblings, we got to always ask, who's the best athlete of you guys?
Oh, me 100%.
That's always the right answer.
It's not even a question. No, it's not even a question.
We'll talk to him on the side and see if he agrees. But as far as sports growing up, same thing we were asking him, is baseball the only sport you played, or did you play multiple sports?
Baseball's the only sport I played. Growing up, I always watched my older brother play, and that's just kind of something I wanted to pick up. So my mom kind of put me in t-ball, and I just fell in love with it since, and I haven't really looked back.
Yeah, and so obviously he's a big influence on you. Was there an athlete for yourself that was a big influence, somebody that you wanted to model your game after?
I would just say my older brother, to be honest with you. He's 5 years older than I am, and he just always had that one extra step on me. And so I was just always constantly trying to catch him and be better than he was. And so he was just kind of that thing that I kept chasing, and he was definitely my biggest influence.
And according to yourself, you chased him and caught him and passed him down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I got him. Now he's coming to me for help, so it's pretty awesome.
there you go. Return the favor. So we were talking about travel ball and everything. Who was it that you played travel ball for?
So mainly I played for a team called Complete Game. It was a local team that's local in Augusta. But I did play a couple of appearances with some other teams, but they weren't like the big Canes National or any like that. It was nothing like that. But I did play a couple of extra games with other teams.
It's actually pretty surprising because a lot of the guys we've talked to, travel ball in Georgia is maybe not second to anybody. I mean, is that not true? I mean, travel ball in Georgia's got it going.
It's huge in Georgia. I mean, we have Lake Point in Atlanta, which it seems like there's something there every weekend, and there's always a huge tournament going on. They have so many fields over there, so they can do really do whatever. But yeah, travel ball in Georgia is insane.
So you played travel ball for them. Where did you go to high school at?
I went to Greenboro High School. We were pretty good, to be honest with you. Everybody kind of knew everybody in that town, and so it was a pretty big rivalry between us and all the high schools.
That's what's up. Yeah, I got some accolades to read off as far as high school right here. 2-time perfect game preseason All-American, number 8 ranked player in Georgia by PBR, 2019 Georgia dugout, Class 6A second team All-State, 2019 first team All Columbia County. You were a 3-time All-Region selection, and then your stats for your junior year, man. 6-1, 0.79 ERA, 71 strikeouts in 61 innings. Posted a 5-3 and 5-3 record even as a sophomore. I mean, it seems like in high school you obviously had it really going on. What was your favorite season? What was your best season?
I'd say my both my favorite and my best seasons were my junior year. Just looking at the numbers strictly, it went really well for me compared to my sophomore year. I just felt like I kind of matured more into my body and into my own mind, to be honest with you. And so that's just kind of where I kind of took off, and that's where I got my first offer from. Was from actually it was Coastal Carolina who gave me my first offer. Not Coastal, sorry, College of Charleston. Sorry.
Gotcha. And so, it doesn't even have the stats. And I obviously know that that's the COVID season. Did y'all even get a chance to play at all, or did they not even just register the stats because it was so short?
I think I pitched in 3 games, maybe. It was probably in 8 innings combined, so we didn't really get to play much.
Yeah, and so we've had a few guys, man, that their senior year was cut short by COVID. What's that like, man, being a senior in high school and then it's over? Like,
devastating, dude. I can't even explain to you what I felt whenever I got told that my senior year was done. I was just sitting in my bed doing homework because school had been canceled for the next 2 weeks or something. And next thing you know, our coach texts us and he was like, "Hey, our season's canceled." And we all didn't know what he meant. We thought he was joking, to be honest with you. And then it just kind of came to fruition, and it just got worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine. We talk about it in regards to just college and pro athletes, but man, I put myself back in high school, and I played ball with these guys. We played in high school. I just couldn't imagine having your senior year ripped out. So, man, I hate it for all you guys. But clearly with the talent that you talked about junior year, that was enough to put you on the map. What schools you talked about College of Charleston? What were your top 3 schools, and what ultimately made you pick Georgia Southern?
So funny story. Those were my only 2 offers, was College of Charleston and Georgia Southern. And so just ultimately I picked Georgia Southern because if we're being honest, they gave me more money than anybody else did, or more money than College of Charleston. And I kind of liked it better there. It's closer to home, so my parents would be able to come see me.
Hey, man, you're getting the last laugh now for all those schools that didn't want to throw you an offer. I love it. So as far as your time at Georgia Southern, you had a couple big games. You recorded a career high 13 strikeouts, 6 shutout innings to earn the win against Appalachian State. And then, of course, talking Tennessee, you went 5 2/3 inning, allowing just one run on 3 hits. We know what the one run was, the Gilbert bat flip. And that was obviously your collegiate debut. So, I mean, talk to me about your freshman year there. Did it meet expectations? How'd you feel about it?
I don't think I met expectations for myself. Maybe for other people, I knew I was a lot better than what I was performing. Obviously, I had my first start against Tennessee, and I thought I did pretty well against them. Obviously, I was pretty mad about that Drew Gilbert home run, but I mean, going back and watching it, I don't know who wouldn't be mad about it. But yeah, I struggled kind of during the middle of the season on the road more than anything, and I think I kind of got into my own mind, and so that's something that I really worked on, just trying to mature and mentally and physically, and that's something that I take pride in now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And clearly, that was something that, I saw the Tony V write up where he talked about what he saw from you just in that one performance from you and everything. And so, I mean, the thing about it is, you run happy about the run that you gave up, but for that team, and we saw what they did the rest of the season, to go into their house and only allow just the one run in your 5 2/3, especially as a freshman and being your first start. I mean, that's about as good as way you could probably start.
Yeah, I'd say so too. I mean, we played ECU the next weekend, so that also wasn't an easy battle either. But I was able to get the W on that one. So,
Did you have to give Tony V just a little bit of stuff about not recruiting you out of high school, man? You had to do what you did to them for him to get you to pay attention to you?
I guess so, dude. I don't know. I wasn't really throwing that hard coming out of high school. I hit my velo jump when I was already signed and committed to go to Georgia Southern. It was my senior year. And so obviously that got canceled, and I couldn't really do anything about it.
Right. Better late than never, right?
Right.
So Burns, we're going to take it back to you for just a second. Shockingly enough, you said you didn't go visit anybody. Like DB said, when you're throwing, in the hundreds, you don't have to go see anybody. They'll come see you. But when you finally get on campus as a student, just walk us through what was that experience like for you, being there where you obviously your number one rank coming in, but are you well known on campus, or were you just trying to fit in? What was that like?
Like coming this year on campus, or?
Yes.
I guess you could say I was a little well known. Drew Gilbert kind of made fun of me a little bit for that video of me hitting 100 in Lake Point, and I asked him if he saw it. He said, "Dude, everybody saw it." So I guess I kind of was known a little bit, but I mean, I was pretty nervous meeting everybody. Seeing them on TV and stuff, you think they're totally different, but they're just like you when you get here.
No, absolutely. That's the one thing we've had a lot of your former Tennessee players and current teammates. The one thing that's always stuck out to us on this podcast is just how down to earth and humble all the guys were, even though you're exceeding expectations, doing all these crazy things. But for you guys in specific, I mean, you coming on, several years ago, Tennessee baseball was not really even a thing, right? Nobody on campus probably even went to the games. And now you guys are coming in off the heels of a Omaha run, and you're like you're just up and coming. What Tony V's building and what you guys are a part of has just got to be special. So, for you to be what he wants to build that with has got to mean something to both of you guys. But I'm going to get into some games, but I got to read off some stats for you, Burns, man. So this year, record 6-0, 1.51 ERA, 57 strikeouts, 14 walks. I mean, just really dominating. And we've seen some pretty dominant performances from you this year. I mean, is that something that you just always had in your bag? Did you expect to be this successful this early at Tennessee?
To be honestly, I was kind of unsure. Going from high school ball to college ball, especially SEC, the highest collegiate ball you can go to, I feel like I was a little uneasy at first. But once I got here and started throwing in the fall and in spring games, I had to adjust a lot. You hang something now, they bang it. So, it's a little bit different, but once I got ready for it, now it's just come secondhand too.
Randy, when you think about it, I mean, he's pitching to the best lineup in the spring, getting ready for the season. So it doesn't get any better for practice.
That's true, but we've talked about on this podcast, the guys went on an incredible run last year, made Omaha for the first time in forever. But coming into the season, I was, griping to Jim, and he was agreeing. it was not, you guys were probably in the top 25, but people were kind of like, man, they lost a lot. I don't know what it's going to look like. What's that lineup going to be? The pitching, they lost a lot. So it wasn't like you guys came in like, oh, they're going to go even further than they did last year. Let's be real. It was uncertain. It's not often that you're going to say, hey, we got Blade, who obviously was, first round draft pick material, but he's hurt. Halverson coming in, he's hurt. So now we're going to have two freshmen and obviously Dollander coming in as a sophomore, but that's not exactly what you say. Oh, well, yep, we're going to Omaha again. We're going to be 32-1, 12-0 in the SEC. But Burns, you don't seem like the kind of guy that wants to talk about your own accolades. So I'm going to read them off for you, man. D1 baseball midseason All-American team, D1 baseball midseason top pitcher and top freshman, Golden Spikes Award midseason watch list, SEC Freshman of the Week, 2022 Shriners Children's College Classic All Tournament team. When you hear all that said about yourself, you said you were uncertain. What's the sense of pride like that you've been able to have the success that you've had so far?
Gives me a lot of confidence, coming in this season, as you say, like all the people getting hurt. I think the pitching staff was getting kind of disrespected a little bit, two
Absolutely.
freshmen on the weekend, and then a guy that they say that couldn't throw in the SEC, and look at him now. I mean, So I think all of us three just being a little disrespected, and now we got a little chip on our shoulder.
And I love it, man. We're going to get into some of that chip on the shoulder, but you guys have obviously made history, right? So you're just continuing history. You set the record for starting the season off with the most SEC wins, 12-0, 23 straight wins. But I got to ask you, for you, Burns, what has been your favorite performance so far this year?
I would have to say the Ole Miss one, going to a different place. I haven't been there in forever. With 14 or 15,000 fans as a freshman, all yelling at you, saying some words at you, then going in there and shoving it down their throat.
Hey, bro, they got quiet pretty quick.
I was waiting to chime in. They were gone. Look, I was at that game. I'm a season ticket holder because I live right down the road. They were gone by the fourth inning, my man.
I mean, my favorite part was just hearing it, throw it in the dirt, and then everybody would yell dirt. So, I mean.
So that was your favorite performance for you. It might be the same one, but what has been your favorite game as a team that you guys have won so far this year?
I think my favorite was probably the Iona game, just everyone hitting home runs. I mean, you would sit down and then you have to get back up to go celebrate. So that was my favorite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you my favorite. Just because, obviously we had this podcast and Jim and I and DB are a part of a lot of college baseball talk around Twitter and whatever. The one fan base to me, and Jim may disagree with this, the one fan base that cries more than any other fan base, and you guys don't have to agree if you don't want to, is Vanderbilt. My goodness. So when you guys go in there and sweep them, and obviously you got the whole Jordan Beck, the bat thing, and I'm with you though, guys. You disrespected is the right word because everybody talked about was these offensive numbers, and they're historical. I'm not discounting what they're doing, but when you look at what you three specifically have done from a pitching standpoint, it's unprecedented. And obviously DB's a pitcher, so he gravitates towards that. Oh, look, I want bombs, I want bat flips, but what you guys doing is dominant. And to me, that's got to be as big of a reason you guys are on the streak you're on as the hitting, because. Look, give me good pitching over good hitting all day. That's just the facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt was my favorite one. I hope y'all do it again soon. But last question.
It's crazy because, guys, when we started the season talking about, college baseball and projections, the one talk was, well, if Tennessee's going to be able to do what they did last year, then they're going to have to figure out how to fill the holes on the ball. And to be honest, like, we knew you guys were going to be hitters and score runs and have a lot of fun doing it, but you guys are really like lighting it up on the mound. So man, like, kudos to y'all because y'all took the challenge and have risen to it and met all expectations so far.
Hey Randy, how about that write-up that I did that included both these two guys on there in my prediction for them to go to Omaha? I know we still got a long road ahead, but man, that thing sure looks good right now. I might frame that thing.
And absolutely. So last question I had for you guys, Burns, you talked about how you guys, felt disrespected. And obviously, now you guys are coming around. The starting pitching is getting a lot of attention. But we've talked about it a lot. It's not just the weekend staff, right? You guys obviously have Blade Tidwell. I could go down the list, right? You got Redmond Walsh. Your exceptional depth as a pitching staff. I mean, you guys are on another level, and it's arm after arm after arm. I mean, you got a guy throwing 104 coming in, and he almost took that guy's head off in the Missouri series. I felt for him, then I laughed. But when you guys are having these meetings and you're talking to each other coming into the season, obviously you guys have confidence, but I'm not going to ask the same question again. Are you surprised by the success? But do you guys talk about it now? Like, this is what we should be doing. We should be this dominant as a staff.
Yeah, I think we all knew before the season, just with all the people that we had and what they've done. I think we all knew that we were going to be pretty successful. I mean, we all help each other. So, that's a plus. So, I think the team chemistry between the pitchers is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all's depth is second to none. And that's why, I think it's important, like we said, long season ahead, but people are saying, are they peaking too early? And my thought process is, because they're comparing you to previous teams from previous years. And I've never seen a team, as Randy was talking about, whether you're talking about the starters or in the bullpen, that has this kind of depth. And I was like, I don't even think they're done peaking. So, shout out to y'all. So Chase,
hey, real quick. Sorry, Jim. I got this is what I want to point out about your staff too. I saw Drew Beam talking about, obviously Blade coming back and how they're going to mix. Everybody's question is Blade going to be back starting Sundays, whatever? And his quotes about that were just, it shows what kind of team you guys are. He said, listen, man, if Blade comes back and takes his Sunday spot, I'll gladly take my bullpen role. And that's a guy that, like the rest of you, has been dominant. I mean, he's complete games doing his thing. So I think that to me shows me more about the peaking too early, like Jim talked about. You guys are in it for the long haul. It's not about individual accolades. It's about, we all have a goal, and it's to be hoisting that trophy at the end of the year.
For sure.
So Chase, we talk about the Georgia Southern, we talk about the transfer to Tennessee, talk to me how that process exactly goes down, so everybody knows. Obviously we know Tony V reached out to you, but how did that whole thing play out?
So I'll take it from the beginning. So first things first, you got to kind of call your head coach that you're currently with and tell them that you're ready to go. And that's not an easy phone call to have at all.
Did you put it off? Because we had RJ Yeager just a couple of weeks ago talking about when he had to make the phone call to Mercer to say he's going to Mississippi State, and he said he put it off a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely put it off. My mom was like, "You need to do it." I was like, "All right, tomorrow." Like, it was kind of one of those things. But yeah, that phone call was not easy at all. But so then you have to like call compliance and stuff like that, get your name in the portal. And so the next morning I was in the transfer portal, and funny story was my little brother was having a football camp at South Carolina. And so that morning I get into the portal, and the first team to call me was Texas Tech. And so I was like already like, what in the world is going on? And then I was on phone calls for the next 6 straight hours, just phone call after phone call after phone call, just blowing up. And I was stressed out because I didn't know what was going on. But Carolina got one that I was there, and they just kind of invited me over just to check out the facility and stuff. And so they were my first offer, and having a first offer from SEC was kind of crazy to me. But going into it, I kind of narrowed it down to about 5 to 8 teams the next day, and the list kind of came with Tennessee, Arkansas, Ole Miss.
Do you realize how wild it is what you're saying? You had 2 offers before, and now you're talking about narrowing it to 5 to 8 teams.
Yeah, it was insane, dude. And then the next thing you know, Texas Tech is at my house, just visiting with me, and then Coach V and Coach Anderson come to the house, and I meet them. It was just crazy. And I went on 3 official visits, one to Texas Tech, one to Arkansas, one to Tennessee. And I just kind of fell in love with the coaching staff and the atmosphere here. I kind of told my mom I wasn't really looking at facilities and stuff like that. It was more kind of what the coaches had for me and what they were going to do for me.
Yeah, I mean, when I just think about what you just said, look, because like I said, I brought it back around to the 2 schools that you just listed that it came down to along with it. because I saw the rankings today. So the number 1, the number 3, and the number 5 school all reached out to you. That's just, man, amazing turn of events. It speaks to, you know, how you grew as a pitcher, you know, freshman year, the development and what they saw in you. And clearly Tony V saw in you, and you clearly made the right choice looking at how things are playing out right now. So with that, you know, what's it been like for you? We asked Burns this, you know, what is it like playing for Tony V, man? Is it like every guy we talk to, we ask this question and we kind of get the same answer, but it never gets old asking. I mean, what's it like playing for that guy?
It's freaking awesome, dude. I mean, his energy in the dugout is probably the highest out of anybody's. I mean, he beats some of the players sometimes, and it's crazy. I mean, you'll see him after Beck's run, he's probably running on the field, being all crazy and stuff, and the next thing you know, he's on the fence, just standing there all calm. And it's like, how do you just flip a switch like that? But
Yeah.
but everybody always says he's such a player's coach, and that's the most truthful thing I've ever heard. And he really truly does care about us and our futures and stuff like that. And that I can't really ask for much more.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on now. We always get the good side of Tony V. I need the real side. When you guys are not, let's just say this. When you're not playing up to expectations, like, what is that like? What is all right? I'm just gonna lay it out there.
Daniel,
What is a Tony V Astruin feel like and sound like? Because I know he probably like lays into you guys.
Before he answers, Daniel, I'm going to tell you, I actually saw a Tony V pissed off face other than arguing about a bat. Because remember, I was at the Shiners Classic. When they lost to Texas, I saw his face. So I do know they get chewed out, but I'll go ahead and let him answer.
The one word I have for that is scary. Like, the entire team is scared. It's to the point where you don't know what to say. He just kind of leaves you speechless, and it's just kind of one of those things. He says what he wants to say, and he walks off, and he's done. And you just kind of there like, okay, like, what do we do? But I mean, that dude, he scares me, but he's an awesome coach.
No, it speaks to his character though, because if he can get on to you like that, and then you shake it off and move on, then. But when I was in Oxford watching, I sent both these guys the pictures, and Randy, because he's the Tennessee fan, he understands that and knew that already. But I was watching, and he's walking and talking with players individually. He's leading multiple different group meetings. He's hitting balls to the outfielders. He's throwing BP. There isn't any part of it that he's not involved in. And I go to games everywhere and watch all these different teams, and I've never seen anything like that. So, I mean, I think he's just next level. And, there's people that like to hate on him. Man, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a player's coach, but I think they should go to a game and watch him. And, I even talked to some of the parents at that game, and they said, you were talking about how much he cares about you. They said that, he texts, he calls, he checks on y'all, during the week. So, I mean, shout out to him. But back to you, we could do a whole episode on Tony V. This ain't even about him. Your season so far, man, 6-0, 3.0 ERA, 70 Ks to 8 walks. I want to start right there. Forget the 6-0. Let's talk about that strikeout to walk ratio. I mean, I've watched you live now, twice pitch. You go right at the zone, man. Like, I mean, is that the approach? Is that the way you are? I'm coming at you, and I dare you to hit it.
Yeah, that's kind of what Coach A wanted me to be this year. Last year, I was a little timid to do it, but now that I have that extra confidence and that better mentality, I just kind of like, here it is. You can't hit it. It's just kind of one of those mentalities, and it's worked out really well for me. So.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, keep pounding. And I mean, I love seeing the strikeout to walk ratio like that. It's such a big deal. The walks produce runs so many times, and it's such a big deal. So I love seeing that single digit walks. So as far as accolades, no different than we were reading off of Burns. I mean, you got Golden Spikes Award mid-season watch as well. You were named SEC Pitcher of the Week. Multiple different things. I could go down this list. I mean, did you expect to have this kind of success early?
I wouldn't say this early, just because of how timid I was going into it. Coming from the Sun Belt to the SEC is kind of crazy. And I didn't know really what was going to happen. But now looking at it, like, that's just something that I kind of expect now. And that's who I've kind of turned into be. And I don't really I don't really want to look back from it because it's turned me into the pitcher I am today, and I can't really complain about it.
Absolutely. Well, I got a two-part question. I got to first know what the emotions were like pitching against Georgia Southern after that being your previous team. And two, that was actually one of your performances where you weren't just, rock solid. Were you laying points for your old team? What's going on?
So the emotions going into it, I was pretty excited. I was hyped up just because, no disrespect to them, but a lot of them just kind of ghosted me and just didn't want anything to do with me. They were kind of mad that I transferred. And so I just kind of had, like Burns has said, I had a little chip on my shoulder. I know that sounds weird being at Tennessee now, but it just kind of made me want to do that much better. And Coach Anderson came up to me one day and he just told me that was probably the most if he had one game for him to be nervous for me in, it would be that one. And just because it was my old team and stuff like that, but in no way was I giving them runs in any sort of fashion. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I had noticed you gave up a few runs. I was like, it seems a little suspect here.
Nah, not at all, dude. They got that one solid bunt that I couldn't get to. No, that's really about it. And then they have the little lefty that stands basically on the plate, and you can't really do much with them. So
I'm really surprised they ghosted you. We've talked to a lot of guys who've transferred and they stay pretty tight. So yeah, shame on them. But what's been your favorite performance this year? We asked the same question, Brian. What's the game that just has really been it for you?
I'd have to say the Vandy game, to be honest with you. That's probably the one that I was most efficient in, and I had a lot of fun doing it too. I gave up those 2 solo home runs, but I've always been told that solo home runs don't kill you. So yeah. I laughed it off. I saw the lights going crazy. I was like, this is so insane. And then I just kind of went back into it.
Did you know for sure you were coming back out? Because me and Randy were texting in real time, and I actually thought you were going to be done. And then there you were coming back out, and your pitch count was at almost 100, or if it wasn't already at 100. So I was actually shocked you came back out there.
It was at 90.
Yeah, I didn't know I was coming back out. So I just kind of do my little in between inning routine. I just kind of sit there, and then when 2 outs come, I get up and do some band stretches, and they didn't say anything to me, so I just went right back out there and tried to get back at it. But
well, the last thing I'll say about that game, and then I'll turn you over to Daniel. And I messaged you afterward, obviously on Instagram, man. We hate the Vandy Whistler. Who doesn't? Outside of Vandy, man, you had dude quiet, and so you get a shout out from me. Anytime you can make the Vandy Whistler absolutely quiet, you're the man.
Nah, I don't just hate the Vandy Whistler. I hate all their fans now. I promise you, that fan base, they cry so much, man. And I mean, ever since then, I had a dude try to tell me yesterday, it runs one of these Twitter pages, that he was, look at the offensive production. It's gone down since the cheating bat thing. So I looked it up, guys. 44 runs in 7 games. That is an offensive dip. And by the way, to you guys' point, you've only allowed 15 runs in the same 7 games, 44-15. That's really going downhill, guys. Y'all just step that shit up.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if that's going downhill, I mean, we're sitting pretty good.
Yeah. Well, hey, by the way, y'all didn't lose a series to Auburn. I'm just saying. They better worry about their own self, not Tennessee so much.
So, guys, we're about to have a little fun, play a little game. Burns, I did have a question. Chase mentioned, pitch counts and being run out there with 90+ pitches. Is there a magic number that you guys have to stay under to stay in, or is it based on feel? Like, what is the thought process as far as how many innings or how many pitches you're going to throw?
I think it's kind of off of feel of them. Once you come in the dugout, they're always kind of looking at you, trying to check your vibe, see if you're tired, see if you're still good. So now you're calm or you're too pumped up. So there isn't really a magic number. They just kind of look at you, see. I mean, they get feedback from Russ to let them know, like, hey, is it still coming in good? How's this stuff? And they kind of just check on you, but there's no really magic number, honestly.
So y'all be looking at Evan Russell like, you better tell him it's still good.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, honestly.
Better not tell him a thing.
I wish Evan Russell would say I'm not. My velo's not good.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, there's a psychology to it, man. I'm sure these guys are asking questions to get feedback from everybody. They're like, hey, middle infield, what's it look like coming from your angle? Hey, Evan, what's it look like from there? And then the last person they talk to is the guy that's actually throwing the damn baseball.
Yeah.
Are y'all ever like, Evan, you're a new catcher. You don't even know what it's supposed to look like.
That's right.
Oh, that man's been killing it. Evan, when you get on Wednesday,
Yeah.
you've been killing it, dog.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's crazy what he's been able to do just in this 1 year.
It's a tough position. It's probably. I mean, I'd love to say pitching is the most vital position, but a catcher is
Look.
pretty integral to the success of a team.
Guys, the best message was I texted him when I was on my way to Houston, and I said, "You better hit a bomb if I'm going to come there." And his exact response was, and I told the guys this, he said, "I'm just worried about catching more than I am hitting." He said, and that's what coach is all over me about.
Well, guys, we've got the story we got from your beginning all the way up to where you are now. So before we let y'all run, let's play a little game called This or That. Y'all down?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. To make this easy, I'm gonna address Chase first and then Burns. So Chase, every question that I ask, you'll answer first. Burns, you'll follow up with your answer to the question. It's simple. I give you one question. You pick one option or the other. Can't say both. Can't say neither. Be decisive. Be quick. Whatever you're feeling, just answer it that way. You guys
All right.
good?
Let's do it.
All right. First question. Would you rather have the daddy hat or the fur coat?
Daddy hat.
Daddy hat.
Oh man, I mean that fur coat looks fire, but I mean I guess that's a Knoxville thing. Those daddy hats are where it's at. One finger touch of the plate or checking your bat after a home run.
Checking the bat for sure.
One finger touch.
That one finger touch is a baller ass move, dude.
Can't go wrong with either one.
No, not at all. Who has better bombs, Beck or Lipscomb?
Back.
Looks like a Viking out there doing it.
I
Yeah.
know.
Insane.
He's a massive human being.
I told him his power comes from that hair flow he's got.
Yeah, it does.
Definitely something. What's a better baseball movie, The Sandlot or Rookie of the Year?
Sandlot.
Sandlot.
Man, I thought this was possible for just a split second. I thought they were going to be like, I've never seen either one of those
Oh,
movies.
so I was worried.
Oh,
boy.
come on. Man.
And the only reason I threw Rookie of the Year in there, Daniel, was because they were pitchers. So I thought maybe they'd have some feel for that movie.
I mean,
You didn't
if they
put
don't-
Trouble with the Curve in there. I'm glad. There's some classics.
All right, so the next question is taking a life of its own. It was a question that was thrown out as just kind of a test question to the new season that we had, and now it has its own surveys. People are voting on it on social media. People are giving feedback, but I'll ask you guys: is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Well, see, I agree with that. I think hot dog is its own thing, but
Yep.
Jim swears that
It's
a
y'all's
sandwich.
fault. It's y'all's fault that it is a sandwich, and let me explain. When I went to the Shriners Classic, they had a hot dog sandwich there, and it was absolutely phenomenal. So now I'm convinced that a hot dog is a sandwich. What they did was they took 2 hot dogs, they cut them in half, split them, laid them across toast. It was magnificent.
I feel like that's a whole different thing, though.
It is.
Hey,
Once you split it in half.
But they found a way to reinvent it. So I mean, I'm going to give it its due.
That's like saying that's like taking an ice cream sundae and then saying it's the same thing as a milkshake.
So
It
Daniel,
ain't.
what's
It
your real?
ain't.
You know what your real problem is because you have such a thing about the Astros cheating. You hated that they cheated on a hot dog sandwich too.
You're right.
Yeah, bump the Astros.
Bump them.
Unless
bump
y'all
every-
play for them, then we'll root for them.
Maybe. No. Would you rather be the funniest guy in the room or the smartest guy in the room?
Funniest.
Smartest.
That's coming from the guy that could have went to Vanderbilt right there. Smartest guy in the room.
Oh, I want a little sidebar. Who's the smartest guy on your team? I didn't realize that Lipsius is an aerospace engineer.
Him and Redmond are the smartest.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, dude, Ben Joyce is smart as crap, too.
Oh, yeah.
Smart and throws 104. Great
Yeah.
hair. I hate him already.
Are they smart? Like they walk in and they want you to know how smart they are, or you just kind of because you know what classes and the course load and like
I think
what?
it's more that we just know what the classes are.
Well, I think it's because Lipschitz is 42 years old.
Yeah,
Probably he's working on his doctorate.
literally.
So, all right, guys. Now we're getting into the meaty questions. So the next question, I got to add some a preface. I'll explain it a little bit. So hold off on your answer. Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? And let me explain. People who say the glass is half full are more positive. They look for the good in everything. People who say the glass is half full says, I'm under pressure and I thrive under pressure because I know I don't have much in this glass and I got to fill it up, so I can't fail. So what is it? Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty?
I'd say half full.
Half full.
All right, positive. I could see that. It's easy to be positive when you're sitting at the top of the mountain. All right. Would you rather spend 10 years in a coma or 5 years in jail?
5 years in jail.
5 years in jail.
Well, there's Gilbert's roommates.
Yeah. Look, guys, I mean, people come on this show and we ask this question. It's probably one of our 2 staple questions. And most people lie right to my face, just like y'all just did. I can't believe it. I thought y'all were stand-up guys and y'all talking about taking jail. Look.
Only Pavoloni, I think, is taking coma. He's the wise one.
Look, I'll explain it to you. I'm 37, and I say this all the time. At this age, I know what I'm good at and what I am not good at. I know that I'd never been to jail, but I know I would not be good at it. Nothing that happens in jail would be something that I would be good at. All right, but I do know that I can sleep and nap. So I know a coma, like I could do that. No problem. Wake up, figure it out. So give me the 10-year nap. I ain't going to jail. But y'all picking jail, that's a rough 5 years. Y'all sure about that? I mean,
I don't know if I can do 10 years without anything, though. You're just laying there.
I think I might change my answer, honestly.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
bro.
smart
Don't do that.
thinking.
Going comma.
yep.
Coma.
There you go. That a boy. That a boy. All right, last question. Would you rather be the first pick in the first round of the draft, but the caveat to that is you have to get rid of all of your current friends? Or would you rather be the last pick in the draft and you get to keep all your friends?
Don't lie this time.
I'll take last pick.
Oh,
First pick.
there it is.
Hey,
boy.
You can make new friends, baby.
That's
you can
right.
buy new friends, man. It's
Nah.
last year it was about a $8 million difference. So
Timeout.
Now, those friends are the fake ones, though.
Chase, hold up now. You talking about a guy that transferred, maybe bettered his position a little bit from Georgia Southern to Tennessee. Now I don't know.
I mean, coming
draft-
from a high school where I didn't really have many friends, I mean, it kind of stuck anyway. So
But see, now you got new friends, and those other dudes ghosted you. You can make
yeah,
new
that's what I was
friends.
gonna say. They don't even know who you are anymore.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's
they
all
knew who
right.
he was when he was dominating them, though.
Well, if you haven't figured it out, the 3 of us have all said we would ditch each other. We taking the bag.
Yep.
These dudes been my friends for a while, but put that bag in front
Holla.
of me and see ya. See ya. All right, guys. Chase, I'll start with you, man. Anything you want to plug or promote while we got you?
I don't really have anything, to be honest. Just, I don't know. Nothing really.
Burns, what about you?
Nothing, man.
See, I knew y'all were gonna say that, so I got it covered for you. So if y'all want to know more about Chase Burns, y'all follow him on Instagram at Chase Burns2. If you want to know more about our boy Dolly, at Little Doe01 on Instagram. If you just want to follow University of Tennessee baseball on Instagram at Vol_baseball. Check them out Tuesday night at Tennessee Tech, 6:30 SEC Plus Network. Then Alabama, number 24 team, is coming into town Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6:30 Friday, 6 p.m. Saturday. 1 o'clock Sunday, all on SEC Plus. Guys, it has been an honor. I wish you nothing but the best. If there's anything we can do for y'all, please reach out to us and we'll get you out there, man.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was awesome.
No problem. That is Chase Dollander and Chase Burns. If you like their story or you just like hearing us average shows talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on Twitter, listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. As always, comments, ratings, feedback, always welcome. We're going to see everybody this Wednesday. We got part 2. Part 2, we're coming back. You guys are so good. We're bringing 2 more of your boys back. We're going to talk more Tennessee baseball with Evan Russell and Drew Beam. This has been the Yen Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We out.